March 13th, 2023, select board meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the Town of Southwick Select Board meeting for Monday, March 13th, 2023. Those present, Russell S. Fox, myself as chairman, Vice Chairman Doug Moglen, Jason Perone. We also have Chief Administrative Officer Carl J. Steinhardt on Zoom, as well as Assistant CAO Nadine Signoni on Zoom. And we also have Administrative Assistant Robin Solak present. If we could all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we begin, and this is happening way too often, we've lost another individual, Gene Cass. She was a Conservation Commission secretary for a lot of years and very active in town, just a fine lady. So if we could please have a moment of silence for Gene Cass. Thank you. The first thing on the agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity for anyone not on the agenda that would like to make a statement to select board. This is your opportunity. I'm going to go to the people in the room first, then I'll go to Zoom. I ask anybody that wants to speak to please state their name and address. Is there?
Allowed to speak in response to the library for the strategic plan, or is that to be?
That'd be during the,
Okay.
it's on the agenda.
I've never been in one of these before, so I have no clue what the protocol is.
That's perfect. When in doubt, ask. But is there anyone in this room that would like to make a public comment? I see no hands. We'll go to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to make a public comment? I don't see any hands there. All right, then we are going to go into our meeting. We're going to meet with the library at 6:10, so I'm going to try to knock off a few things before we meet with you. Do you have other people coming or?
They may show up, so if we wait a few minutes, that works for me.
Okay. And we're not going by that clock up there, okay? I guarantee everybody that. All right, I'd like to acknowledge payroll warrant number 2321 dated 3/16/23 in the amount of $257,977.77. I need a motion to accept the open session minutes dated 3/6/23.
Just note that that warrant date is probably 3/6, not 3/16, seeing as how today's the 13th.
Okay, thank you for that catch.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, it's actually 3/13. It's today's date.
All right. So we're acknowledged payroll warrant number 2321 dated 3/13/23 in the amount of $257,977.77. I need a motion to accept the open session minutes dated 3/6/23.
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Perone, second. Roll call vote. Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Perone, aye. All right. Now we're going to look at the executive session minutes dated 3/6/23. Need a motion?
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Perone, second. Roll call vote. Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Perone, aye. All right, pass them back. Thank you. All right. We are going to the action folder. And the first thing, just by coincidence, donations to the Southwick Public Library. We have 3 donations of $100 each. In memory, all 3 are in memory of Irene Wolf from Deborah and Frank Jukala. I apologize if I mispronounced it, Lynn K. Boverman, and Gail and Stephen White. Need a motion?
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Peron, second.
Okay, roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
Okay. Next is to accept a donation for the purchases of benches at the Southwick Town Cemetery. 6 benches have been donated in memory of family members that have passed. 6 names are Vinnie Abadanza, Kyle Johnson, Roy Benson, Elwood and Joyce Anderson, Rita and Paul Winch, Elvira and Cecily Gennari, Mary Lynn Hebert Rupert. So I need a motion to accept those 6 benches for the town cemetery.
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Peron, second.
Okay, roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
Okay. Next is let's see,
Jason.
Southwick Police Department Office of Animal Control. Southwick Animal Control Shelter is requesting select board vote to approve and accept donations totaling $300 from the below named. C. Lackey, Southwick, Mass. 2 checks equaling $100. K. Air, Feeding Hills, Mass. $25. M and J Chase, Granby, Connecticut, $50. J. Bonacci, Southwick, Mass. $50. J and D Owens, Feeding Hill, Mass. $25. And Lent, Suffield, Connecticut, $50. I need a motion.
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Peron, seconded.
A roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye. I need an aye.
Oh, Doug Mogul, aye. Sorry.
Jason Peron, aye.
Okay. All right. The next is a letter from our new governor and lieutenant governor, Maura Healy and Kim Driscoll, concerning chapter 90 monies that they're it still has, once the bill is enacted, it's under the $200 million annual bonding authorization, and to acknowledge chapter 90's, Southwick's chapter 90 amount would be $373,311.46. So that's the first salvo. Hopefully our good legislators will bump that up to 300 million annually, or 330 million annually, as requested by the Mass Municipal Association, but we'll have to wait and see. So we acknowledge that and we appreciate anything we get. Okay, next is to authorize the chair to execute Southwick Greenhouse Inc. host agreement at 27 Hudson Drive. This is the agreement between Mr. Delatorre, who was here at our last meeting, for a grow facility at the former Rose greenhouses on Hudson Drive. And it's pretty much a standard agreement that's been worked on by town council and the back and forth. Of course, we try to get some positive things in here that town residents, we hope they hire town residents, that they work with the police department and work with the town of Southwick, and also do an outreach on education of the use of cannabis. So I need a motion.
Doug Mogul will make that motion for the chair to sign.
Jason Peron will second.
Roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
Russ, can you sign this, please?
Just the original.
All right. Okay, I guess the next thing is we're announcing, we're gonna be having our budget review with the accounting office on April 5th at 5:30 PM here in this room. And then on the 11th, we'll be meeting jointly with the finance committee. Everybody understand that? Okay. And Robin's gonna remind us all those dates and time. But just so that we kind of have it on there. Okay. All right, the next is, we have a, need to make a motion to accept a very generous donation of $650 from Diane and Andrew Gale, for the Southwick Police Department K-9 gift account. I need a motion.
Doug Mogul, so moved with our thanks.
Jason Peron will second.
Roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron.
Okay. Okay, next, and it must be under chair mail, because it's new to the agenda. Authorized chair to sign a CDBG fiscal grant, town owner agreement for 10 North Long Yard Road. Oh, that's the agreement I signed in the outer office. It's a community block grant. So if someone could make a motion to authorize me to
Doug Mogul, so moved.
Jason Peron second.
roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
All right, and now it looks like I'm a little over, so I'm gonna invite the library trustees up to the table, grab some chairs, come on up.
All right. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes tonight. We just completed our 5-year strategic plan, so I wanted to take a moment to present it to the board, just so you guys are aware of what we have coming up in the next 5 years. I see you have copies. If anybody wants another copy for some light reading material, we have plenty. So we started this back in September. We do a 5-year plan, obviously every 5 years, because we have to have one on file. It's not required as a library to have one, but we're required to have it if we apply for certain grants. So it's a good idea to have on file, and it gives us some guidance for upcoming years. So we started in September with our strategic planning group, a group of local community members, trustees, friends of the library, who helped us put it together. So basically what we did was we met beginning in September 22 and came up with some goals. We did a couple exercises to figure out, what our strengths are, what we're doing good, what we can improve on, and, what opportunities are presenting itself for the next several years. We did a survey to the community October through November. We got about 260 results back, which was great. A lot of our volunteers handed surveys out outside of the town elections, so we were able to catch a lot of people that way. A lot of people that don't visit the library, which is good. Normally when we do a survey, we get a lot of people that come in, so it was great to get a lot of people who don't normally come in, so we can also get their feedback as well. I finished up the plan in December and January. It was voted on by the Board of Library Trustees, and it was just approved by the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. So starting July 1st for our next fiscal year, it is going to be active. So our group came up with, just to highlight the goals and objectives for the coming couple years. So we really wanted to hone in on, community communication, keeping in touch with the community, what they need, and going from there. And we were also really wanted to focus on programming. A big response from a lot of the surveys was they want more programs and events. They want them at different times, different days. So we're really trying to adapt to have something for everyone as well. We are also going to continue focusing on our educational services, keeping a diverse collection. We're going to focus on our business center and job searching and career resources, working on our services to homeschool students. And lastly, we are going to keep an eye on library funding. So looking at different grants that we can possibly look into to keep up with the services and demands from the town. And yeah, so you'll see, and I gave everybody a copy of the plan. If anybody's interested in reading it, who's on Zoom, it's also on our website as well, so you can take a look at that. But I wanted to, we have a couple members of the group who helped us plan the survey here tonight, and if they want, I know,
I'm just gonna ask you to please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Carol Klosny. I live on One Harvest Lane in Southwick. I am an unabashed lover of the Southwick Public Library. What I can tell you is, quite frankly, the library is the only non-judgmental, non-discriminatory organization that we have. And Lord knows we need more of those. They service everyone from birth, just before death, and I'm, what can I tell you? And this plan is an attempt to reach almost 10,000, 11,000 people, because that is the group that we serve. Lynn and her staff have done a phenomenal job trying to keep us all happy. And some of us are not easily kept happy. And I just hope I endorse it. You know, if I had the money, I would tell you guys $300 million, give it to the library and go from there. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anybody else after that speech?
I know. Hard act to follow.
So what she said, I'm Andrea Bugby. I live at 77 Tannery Road. And I wanted to thank the select board for your ongoing support of the Southwick Public Library and to ask you to continue to prioritize it as an essential town resource. When I moved to Southwick in 1994, the town library was this cute little building, and you could borrow books and these things that we old folks used to call videotapes. The strategic plan constantly challenges the library to keep pace with the future. And because of that forward thinking, I'm here to tell you how I use the library today. I'm a big reader, and the Southwick Public Library has always been my free bookstore. But now it is also my ebook and audiobook and streaming subscription. It gives me access to titles from all over the state. I can go to the library without ever leaving my house. For many years, I worked from home, and when any of my systems crashed, the library was right there with the computers and the Wi-Fi and the copiers and the printers that I need. I have borrowed museum passes, a telescope, a Wi-Fi hotspot, and a ghost hunting kit from the Southwick Public Library. And in presentations there, I learned local history. I saw my first drone photographs. I've heard wonderful concerts and learned about climate change through an app that I could access, a free app I could access through the library. I got one-on-one coaching on how to update my resume. And I got coaching on how to prepare for job interviews. And in the space of a minute, any one of us can walk into the library and out again with free garden seeds, free COVID tests, free tax guides, and free puzzles. In short, the Southwick Public Library ain't what it was in 1994. And more than providing stuff, the Southwick Library connects neighbors and it builds positive community relationships. It broadens the reach of every town department, but especially our schools and our senior center and our rec center. The Southwick Public Library is an all incomes, all ages resource branded by fun and learning. And it is a dynamic town department constantly redirecting itself to meet resident needs. So I want to thank the select board for valuing our library and for supporting its goals for the future. And now, I'm not kidding, I have to excuse myself because there's a great program at the library.
Come on, that was a setup. That was a setup.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, well.
She said too.
Nice to see you. Have a good evening.
Nancy, it's your turn.
Again, couldn't possibly follow.
Okay. Mike, anything?
No, I think they've said it all.
You said it all. Okay.
Wonderful.
And thank you. I learned more about the history of the library. some of the stuff I never realized that it started out at the Congregational Church. Well, town started out at the Congregational Church, but that was interesting to know.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just wanted to keep you guys abreast of all of our plans for the next 5 years, and then in 5 years, we'll do it all again. Was there any questions from the select board for me?
Not for me. I mean, the survey piece was great. I mean, they were very diligent in getting people to do the survey at the,
Absolutely.
leaving the polls
Yes.
at the elections, and
Oh, yes.
I think it's very valuable information to get that back. And I did look at some of the statistics, and it looks like you have great reach in the, your adult classes. Looks like there's almost 10 people per event that you have, which is fantastic. And I think it was Mike actually had mentioned last year, it was prior to COVID, the number of people that had rotated through the building is a huge number.
About 38,000 a year.
That was the number.
That's
It's a
huge-
big number, right? And that's great. And so, if 10,000 people in town, everybody in town came through at least 3 times, and it's probably, obviously it's a much higher concentration of a fewer number, but even more, that makes it even more relevant. So, it's certain, you're doing a great job over there, and,
Thank you.
I know I've been there, my wife's been there and used the facility for other events, even the ag program that was
Yep.
held over there. That was a great community event held there and a good venue for it. So thank you for all you do.
Wonderful.
And,
All right.
and to the supporters of the library as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for your time.
All right, Liz.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You as
Everybody be
well.
safe.
You don't still owe them any money and overdue.
Let's not talk about that, okay? They still laugh when I show them my original green library
Was
card.
that someone that was at the congregation?
Oh, it's starting.
It's a thin
It's
stone
starting.
right
It's
here.
starting. Okay. All right, we're going on to new business. And the first thing I have is a request to be reappointed to the Board of Registrars by Shirley Mae Morris. We talked about that last week, that was an opening.
Yep, Doug had mentioned to double check that.
Okay,
That was right, that wasn't I?
Yep.
Once a year. There you go.
all right, any discussion? All right, I'll accept the motion.
Doug Moglen, so moved.
Jason Peron, second.
Okay. If you could notify Shirley Mae,
Who's the chair?
I think
It's probably
I think-
Shirley May.
Well, it's either Shirley May or it's our town clerk is the chair, I believe.
Can you also notify Michelle
Yeah,
that?
I always do.
Yeah. I think Michelle herds those cats. Okay. Mr. Steinhardt, new business?
No, sir.
Mr. Moglen, new business?
I don't think so. Hold on. No, thank you.
Mr. Crone, new business?
None.
Okay. Old business, first thing I'm gonna mention is the school budget meeting that was supposed to be held tomorrow has been changed to Wednesday in the Powder Mill Cafeteria. Mr. Jubb
Yes, sir.
is here from the school committee, is that correct?
You're correct.
Okay. So we will endeavor to persevere and go to that meeting. Okay. North Pond, we had that meeting. I see Chief Landis is here. We had that meeting. I think everything's going according to plan, if the weather would cooperate. You're right. So as long as the weather cooperates, we'll be able to get everything done that we want to get done. I was going to notify CRC had invited me to their first meeting. And I just realized that our budget hearings have now been moved to that same night. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it there for 7 PM. But do you think you and
What's the date on that?
the April 11th at 7 PM? Why don't you Okay. Okay, double check her. And I was gonna contact them and explain that none of the members of the board could make it, but maybe Lieutenant Banish, if you're not there, and that lady from Fish and Game had offered to attend too, so but I'd like to see if somebody could go there with her and introduce her, so. I'll touch base with you. Okay. The sewer IMA, Mr. Steinhardt, I think it's time that we try to schedule a meeting with Mayor McKay. Maybe
Okay,
that last week of March. Marijuana dispensary, I see that we got a draft
Yes.
here. Mr. Brown, you want to talk about that?
Just do it.
Right here. There you go.
Well, as you know, I spent talking about it for several months. I've written up a cannabis warrant article draft for placement on the town warrant, and what this would do is, if we approved it, without question, would allow for the residents and voters of Southwick to allow amendment of the current wording of the town of Southwick's general bylaw 63, section 1. As currently written, the bylaw prohibits the establishment of non-medical marijuana cannabis establishments by stating the following: general bylaw, chapter 63, section 63(1), non-medical marijuana establishments, non-medical cannabis retailers as defined in general law, chapter 94G, section 1, shall be prohibited within the town of Southwick. My proposal is, if approved at town meeting, the wording of general bylaw 63(1) would be amended from shall be prohibited to shall be allowed. This would be the only change to any and all currently established cannabis and marijuana general or zoning bylaws at this time. If approved, it's going to be presented to the town council to ensure proper formatting, wording and legality, and my whole purpose is to capture the significant tax revenue. I want to grab a couple things here that I printed up. As far as one of the towns that's similar to us in size, population, as close as I can get, town of Great Barrington, just for an example, what they've brought in over the last few years. Their cannabis revenue in 2019, which was toward when they first started to open, was $271,459.92. Fiscal year 2020 went to $1,426,340.85. And fiscal year 2021 is $1,755,751.50. Their grand total so far in those first 3 years is $3,453,552.27. That's the big one. I brought up a couple of points that I put on my computer here that I want to, one of the main things I hear is, I've seen posted, is we need to bring the tax rate down, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. This is presenting an opportunity to utilize the legal business now in the state of Massachusetts that can present to us, for lack of a better term I have to use, it's free money. We don't have to put anything into this. It all comes back to the town. Some of the examples that I brought up, we were talking about the budget. We had our first meetings over the weekend. This could fund both the new firefighter and the new police officer position that are being sought out. And there are a couple of purchases that could be funded that we talked about at the budget meeting. The fire engine, some of that money could be presented to Randy for the full request of the 3 million to offset the dump truck. And past examples that I mentioned in the past, it could have paid for this roof. And like I said, I'm not here trying to promote the use of it. But I feel very strongly about this, that this is a tax revenue source that we need to tap. People talk about the dilution with Connecticut. They're only going to have 56 licenses. Of course, things change. The closest one to us right now and in the perceived future is Enfield. That's across the river. So that's kind of that physical barrier that some people don't like to cross. And those are a lot of things I hear about the dilution with the different, so many of them. I point to package stores. There's plenty of them and they're still running. And then one of the things that always comes up is people are concerned about kids getting their hands on it, and controlling it and stuff like that. None of the candies are allowed to look like gummy bears or whatnot like that. And again, I'm not promoting this. But my argument for that is always, and I think Chief Landis would agree, there are more dangerous drugs sitting in most people's medicine cabinets that can literally, just by touching them, kill a child or an adult. I think this is a revenue source we have to tap. You know, that's how strongly I feel about it, and that's why I proposed this warrant article.
Okay.
I have a question,
Shoot.
if I may. And I appreciate the hard work on this, but I shouldn't even said but, it's not a but. This bylaw by and of itself would not allow
Correct.
the opening of a dispensary in the town of South.
This is gonna be like a two-step process.
Okay.
I'm
I
not
just want to
trying
make
to,
sure that we're all on the same page.
I don't wanna put the loaded cart in front of the horse. Yeah, that's why I know if you look, I highlighted and I tell in bold the only right now.
Right.
I wanna work with the townspeople to ensure that this is done the right way.
Any other questions?
No, subject to how it'll get worded for an article if it goes to there.
Okay. Let me grab mine back. So I have it. Thank you. Jason.
You're welcome.
All right, next thing, we're gonna remove the marijuana host agreement for Hudson Drive because I just signed it. Carl 74 College Highway, I see that they did submit a name.
Yeah,
but,
you're correct, Mr. Chairman. We did get a name, but obviously, they said that they're working on an agreement with their attorney with the person, so. I'm not sure whether that satisfies the board at this point in time, or we just wait to see when we get a copy of that agreement.
Well, I mean, the individual they named is a local resident, somebody that I know, from school or our kids in school together. So I could certainly reach out to him to get some more information if you think that's appropriate.
I do. That would be good to confirm that, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so I can reach out to that. I'm not gonna say the name in public yet until I verify it's legitimate. But that location has been approved and we just want to see someone doing something. All right, so speed limits in Deer Run area, we're still in doing that job. Municipal electricity,
That has been, that warrant article I passed across.
Okay.
Last meeting
okay,
for approval and
okay, so why don't we, it's basically gonna be a warrant article, so we can move it out of old business. correct?
So, right, is the board okay with that one and the earlier one, both going to town council to be placed to form?
I think it's, an opportunity for the voters to be heard on both issues, so. And we can see if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I know there's feelings on cannabis, we know that. We saw the informal survey that we did. So it's time for the voters. We have the purest form of government there is, open town meeting form of government. So let's hear from the voters. As far as the electricity, let's hear from the voters with that too. I mean, I mentioned Jason or anybody that currently I do it,
Yeah.
So I mean, anybody can reach out and do that. They don't have to wait for the town of Southwick.
Correct.
But other municipalities do offer this, so we'll see if the voters want to go down that path.
All right, so I'll take that directive to mean that it's okay to submit both of those documents to council.
Smoking, any issues?
None.
Okay, all right, so that's done. The Greens West Road, we've been sent that to the planning board, so I think we can remove that from old business.
Have we voted to put that on the warrant?
Oh, well,
We do have that warrant article. It was part of it came in the form of a petition, didn't it? or an article. I mean, you did vote to do the layout and attend it. So at a
we've done it.
previous
So as
meeting
long as
on
we've done our
March
job,
6th.
Thank you. I'm sorry to step on you, Carl. Yeah, correct. I just don't want to lose track of this one with any of these road acceptances to get them to at least town meeting, right? I
No,
don't want it to-
that is
forget
going on the warrant, sir.
Then we're going to.
Okay, take it on. All right, next is the flag policy. If we could spend just a few minutes, Mr. Jason was working on this. We were borrowing things from other communities, not stealing. And these are a couple of things that I
Yep.
talked informally with you about it. Limit the flag to the front of town hall. Unless the Board of Selectmen chooses to add. Number of days to be flown determined by the select board. Or designee.
Mhm.
I also put down flag to be provided becomes the property of the town of Southwick. And it to be the proper size to fit our flag pole and our hardware. And then this is something that came from the veterans. That only military flags be flown at our memorial at
I
the,
have no problem with
Town
that, being a veteran myself.
so those were the things that I wanted to kind of add, and maybe we could take yours and have CAO and the assistant CAO kind of word this all together
That works for me.
and present a a reading to this board at some future date. Is that all right, Carl?
Yeah, Russ, just make sure we get your comments so that we can figure out where it incorporates into the draft that Jason has, and then I might have council double check it once we have a combined language thing to make sure that we don't run afoul with any of the court cases that have recently happened.
Correct.
So I really want it to be a two-step process.
Absolutely. You were absolutely correct.
Does that
because-
sound right, Jason?
That sounds right to me.
Well,
Okay.
this all came out of Mass Municipal, when we
Yeah.
met with the Selectmen's Association and met with the attorneys and the Attorney General's office, and they strongly suggested that we have a policy because of some of the issues municipalities have been running into. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve before we have a problem.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Moulin, do you have anything you want on my policy as written?
I didn't catch Russ's first. I thought it was, did you mention that the flag in front of town hall as being the place to do it?
Correct,
Yeah, that's, I'm in 100% agreement with that.
correct.
That was my only thought on this. Other than that, it seems very well done.
Okay. And I think, and I don't know, I'm sure it's in there somewhere that just by raising a flag doesn't mean that it's an endorsement,
No.
but okay. Okay, select board goals and objectives. Again, this isn't something we have to do, but we carry it in case there's anything that comes up. Something new or something that we neglected. Anybody with anything?
I brought up mine, was it 2 meetings ago, the things that I'd mentioned.
Okay. And then Doug, we're all set on the municipal light plant article for step 2 of the
Correct.
fiber optics. Should we remove this or the article from old business? Is the article-
Well, you have to okay it, just like you just did the other ones. You got to okay
All
it
right.
on the warrant.
Mr.
I'll move to put it, the second question, second time asking the question to form a municipal light plant onto the town meeting warrant.
All right, why don't we do it, all 3 proposed articles, a vote, since I don't think did we vote on the last?
did not.
Okay, let's do all 3. Yeah.
So moved.
Got a motion for
I
all
will
3
second
articles,
that,
second
all
if
3
roll
articles.
call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
Okay, so we're gonna remove that.
Doug, does the wording of that second vote have to vary from the first one?
I don't think so, but
Well, I'm sure
Probably
town
check
council
it.
will pick up on that when he's doing his.
kind of important that we don't mess it up.
All
Okay.
right, Mr. Steinhardt, old business,
No, we went over the issue I had.
okay. Last call, any old business? Did I miss anything?
We got a couple of little things.
Go ahead, shoot.
We're not meeting next Monday.
No, next Monday is a state holiday. No, it's not next
It-
Monday. It's a national holiday next Monday. I apologize. It's in April. We have a state holiday.
So wish, first of all, you a happy birthday this week, and Carl
Thank you.
And Michelle,
and Michelle, happy
Michelle.
That's right,
birthdays.
Michelle's
And,
20, yeah.
all of our Irish friends. a happy
Randy
Saint-
and, yeah.
Happy and safe St. Patrick's Day.
yeah, Sharon Bigori.
And then I did attend a social media webinar sponsored by Mass Municipal. Very interesting. Actually came in handy during the budget meeting when we talked about some of the social media stuff and some of the website stuff and whatever. So it was a very beneficial hour or two of time there. I've been working very closely with town council regarding one of the board's composition and appointments in relation to how it came into town meeting. And I did confer with the chair this weekend with permission of council to kind of bring him up to speed as to what's going on there. I've continued to work on the appointment process survey and process website for upcoming appointments for June, trying to just stay ahead of the curve on that one. And then Carl has been very helpful with my strongly worded letter and correspondence with the state senator regarding the open meeting. Just so happened that there was traffic the next morning about legislation that was passed in the House and the Senate. They just have to get into to reconcile the bills and then get them to the governor to sign so that we can continue hybrid meetings. So I converted from a strongly worded letter to strongly worded email.
Very good,
That's it.
very good. Jason, you all set?
You just wanted to touch base. You mentioned the aggregation, how you do it. Again, one of the bonuses is if we were to do it this way, again, it's an opt-in, opt-out. It's not mandatory. Because if we were to do it this way, it would provide a little bit more savings for folks, because it would larger pool of people together. Again,
Economy of scale.
there you go.
There you go. All right. If there is nothing else, we have to go into executive session. We will be going into executive session not to reconvene. A motion to go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter C, 30A, Section 21, 2 and 3, and Chapter 214, Section 1B, Labor Council litigation matters and strategies for collective bargaining with Police Union Coalition, Fire IAFF, DPW, non-union staff, and cleric union UPSEU. Executive session regarding Mass General Laws, Chapter C, 30A, Section 21,
Say about that tonight.
Chapter 214, Section 1B, and Exception 2. Move to go into executive session to conduct collective bargaining session with non-union personnel, not to reconvene in open session. Move to go into executive session to conduct contract negotiation with non-union personnel and to not to reconvene in open session. Declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of body, not to reconvene in open session. Move to go into executive session, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. And the chair move to go into executive session to conduct strategy sessions and preparations for negotiation with non-union personnel and not to reconvene in open session. Move to go into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, and that the chair declare that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the body and not to reconvene in open session. Begun in Chapter 214, Section 1B, a person shall have a right against unreasonable, substantial, or serious interference with their privacy. Superior Court shall have jurisdiction and equity to enforce such right in connection therewith to award damages. Roll call vote, Russ Fox, aye.
Jason Peron, aye.
Doug Mogul, aye.